good things from it, so why not go ahead and try it? Okay, we can't pick a new game. Let me just check options real quick, I guess. Flicker, screen shake, that's fine. Brightness, voice effects. We'll see all that, won't see all that. Well, we can't complete a new game, so I guess we're gonna go ahead and continue then. Working off of somebody else's save already? Alright, I can't move or nothing, so let's just get chill for a moment. Well, hello there. Another challenger, it's been ages. Well, that's something. Don't suppose I can set the actual... Doesn't look like I can set the actual, so we're gonna have to deal with some cut-off text. Hopefully that's not gonna, be an issue. Perhaps you've forgotten how this game is played, unless it's actually meant to be cut off. Allow me to remind you. Remind me? Yeah, maybe actually tell me how to play. Play the squirrel card. Alright, if you insist. Looks like I can pick wherever I want to place it. 0-1, now play your stove. I can play multiple cards in one turn? Alright, fair enough. Stove. Alright, well, gotta sacrifice him to play somebody stronger. Nothing new there. Rules require 2 sacrifices. You don't have enough. Ring the bell, then your turn, and commence combat. Okay. The number on the left is your attack power, and then the other one should be my HP. Your stove dealt me 1 damage. I added it to the scale. If you win, you win if you tip my side all the way down. Like that. Alright then. Your stone stands in the way of my coyote. My coyote dealt 2 damage to your stone. That means your stone's 2. Your health is 2 less. If a creature's health reaches 0, it dies. It's your turn again. You may draw from your deck, or you may draw a squirrel. Gotta get used to some of how this works around here. So I could draw a squirrel, in which case I'd be able to get a wolf, and then I could kill the coyote. Give me a squirrel. Excuse you? You what? Alright, well. Already getting criticized when we just started the game? Beast sacrifice was not removed from your deck. Its suffering was real, but you'll see it again. Good. I'm sure it will love me for doing that then. Well, nothing else I can do this turn, so, get wrecked. Because you're learning, I will pass. Alright. Again, the choice. A random card from your deck or the certainty of a squirrel. I mean, there's definitely something to be said to the certainty of a squirrel, but they don't actually do damage, and I'm at the point where I could do it. 6 HP is a lot, but 1 damage is not really something, and it looks like I take 2 sacrifices there. I don't really got nothing, so, well, hidden. 3 damage dealt, 3 weights on the scale. You're just gonna keep passing? You're trolling. Well, I guess go ahead and give me a squirrel. Wrecked. You won this match. Well, you kind of threw, so I mean, you're a bit of a hollow victory there, but sure. They won't all be so easy. Well, I would hope not. That'd be a very boring game if it was. Let me recall your story. Good, because I don't know what my story is. Alright then, we got a little bit of a Slay the Spire aspect going on so far already from just the idea of this. You were lost deep in the forest. A single path revealed itself. Well, linear gameplay so far. Alright then. 2 denizens of the forest approached you tentatively. Caustic Adder. Damage from its poison bite is always lethal, so it's an instant kill card, but it's only got 1 HP and it requires 2 sacrifices. There's something to be said about that. You got Dying Cat. Sacrificing an important beast does not kill it. So we want instant kills, or do we want infinite sacrifice? I mean, infinite sacrifice is just from a utility standpoint sounds like it should be much better, especially considering the cards we had so far have required a lot of sacrifices. Some of the creatures of the forest seem willing. Follow me, okay. You came across an abandoned sack. You found a squirrel in a bottle to break it in case of emergencies. In-hap-sec? Alright. Another useful implement will allow you to tip the scales with it. Okay. 3 is as much as you can carry, so that's all we're getting for now. Alright, fair enough. You're ambushed while crossing some rough terrain. You sacrificed me while I was sleeping. It was the right play, I get it. Maybe. Maybe you'll help me? Take your turn. Hey man, I got cards talking to me. It's not normal. You may now see my moves ahead of time. That kinda seems like cheating, but okay. So you're gonna throw down a wolf cub, which has some symbol on there. I'm sure we'll figure that out. There's nothing I can do to it at this point, so... Man, we really got nothing here. So I play a squirrel over here, then I sacrifice the squirrel for the cat, so that way we can get our sacrifice engine going, and then I sacrifice the cat because it's never gonna end up dying. We can put Stoat down. The River Snapper we could get rid of Stoat for, in which case it would just have more HP, but I don't think we necessarily need to do that just yet. I don't think we need any of our cards totally just yet. R1, oh, that's just so we can look at these things. I don't need that just yet, hopefully. Mind the ambitious wolf cub, it ages swiftly. Okay, so it sounds like he's gonna evolve or something after a turn here, which is kind of a problem considering there's literally nothing at the moment I can do to stop it, so we're just gonna have to deal with it when it comes. Could take a squirrel, which would guarantee that we end up getting out the river snapper, although it's going to be a minute. I probably need him to tank the actual cub when that time comes. I feel like we just need damage at this point. The wolf. Can I sacrifice the boulder? Probably not, right? Well, that would get rid of Stowe, which I'm not entirely set on. This is fine. Hopefully. Okay, so the cub turned into a wolf. So it's just like a free upgrade card, but delayed a turn, alright. The airborne bat flies over creatures to attack directly. Attacking my life points directly, okay. My bat flew right over your stone. Well, that's not helpful. Our boulder's about to die. I can't do anything about the bat, question mark, unless my people can actually attack him. He just happens to be able to attack over us. Is that it? Well, if we pull a squirrel, then we can get a wolf out, and then we can go from there. This seems fine. We put the squirrel here. Then we want our wolf. The wolf will go ahead and take care of the squirrel, and then the cat, being our infinite sacrifice resource, works out well. So we'll take out the stump, and then we can eventually start working on him. The boulder's about to die this turn, which means that we're going to need somebody to be able to take care of this wolf, which I probably should have left my wolf for, because I'm not exactly sure how good our other guards are. But worst comes to worst, we can probably just keep delaying him with squirrels until the time comes. Well, actually, now that we have the squirrel, now we have the 2 sacrifices we need for the river snapper, which can actually do damage plus tank hits for us, so this will work. Almost one off that turn right there. May as well see the rest of our deck. Another wolf. I could sacrifice Stoat again just for the lulz. Sure, why not? Wow, seriously? Yeah. Well, you know, see, it's overkill. I don't know if that's gonna be actually useful or not, but it seems like he's keeping it, so I gotta imagine it becomes a resource at some point here. What exactly that'll end up meaning for us, not entirely sure, but I'm thinking it's gonna be something good. You prevailed and trekked onwards past the bloody terrain. Is it bloody? I mean, he did just get bodied, but you know. Okay, what do we got here? The wolf cub. The young wolf cub. It grows into a wolf after a single turn. Wolf was, what, 2-3? Or 3-2, I guess. 3 damage, 2 HP. Although you do have to give him a turn, plus he requires a sacrifice. Meat Sparrow, an inexpensive if feeble flying creature. So this gives us the ability to attack directly. It's only 1 damage though. It does require a sacrifice. I kind of feel like we need the damage, but I also need to keep him alive for the time that it is, because he's even more fragile than the Sparrow. But once he turns into a wolf, then it's at least better. I mean, being able to attack direct, it's 1 damage though. Like, it just, that's really not much. You know, if it was 2 or if it was 3 for sure we could grab it, but at that 2 I would feel okay with this. Do we have things to keep the wolf cub alive? Not necessarily. Do we have things to keep the Sparrow alive? Not necessarily, although like that last one, we would actually be able to keep continuously attack him over the stump and whatnot. So he would actually have to get rid of the stump himself if he was able to, or it's just a free placement. I think the utility on the Sparrow is just better. I mean, I'm definitely going to have to get damage at some point. It's just a matter of when I do. You stumbled into some strange stones in the mist. You were compelled to choose a worthy sacrifice, one that will be lost forever. Okay. Well, we just picked up the Sparrow. I like the cat so far. I'm gonna... You look upon your menagerie and select a healthy host, so we're gonna pick up an attribute from him, presumably the flying. A flying wolf that can do damage. I mean, Stokes ain't pick him, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's better. I feel like this wolf would be better. You know, he seems to be narratively he seems to be pushing the narrative along, so I guess we'll go ahead and go with him, although if it wasn't for that reason, I would probably end up picking one of these wolves here, but for the sake of him talking about it, here you go. A ghastly spectacle, but the soul of the Sparrow now lives in the stoat. Okay. So our stoat now flies, so he can do damage directly, although his damage is relatively pitiful. But he does have a little bit of HP to him, at least. Behold my totem, and inscribes my canine cards with the airborne sigil. Okay, so all of your wolves can fly. That is not what you want to see here. So we got a coyote at 2-1, but he can fly. There's also the bat that can do damage directly. So putting things in front of them doesn't exactly work, because they're just going to fly over and do damage. Sacrifice the squirrel, get the cat out there. Nothing I can do this turn. My totem has granted my coyote the power of flight. Oh, life is pain. We already gonna lose? Like, jeez. I think we've got to use our cards here. Not our cards, but like our bottle? How do I use the bottle? I don't know. Can I not? Oh, I probably have to grab a card first. I think we gotta take a squirrel here. So we can put down a squirrel. We put down a squirrel here. Use the wolf, sacrifice these 2. That'll get rid of you. You're still gonna do 2 damage. In which case, I think I have to... I pressed the wrong button. Oh no, did I lose for that? You lost. Use this as a learning opportunity. Maybe the only way to mitigate my disappointment. Get up. Man, I fat-fingered it. I was trying to go over to the bottle, and then I should have lost that. Fetch me the candlestick from the the barrel besides the door? Oh boy, we got like tank controls going on here. Presumably those are something significant, a safe there I'll have to go grab at some point. What is this? And don't mind me, I'm just wandering around, man. Man, I really wish I had better ways to go about this area here. I mean, there's a safe here. In theory, I could brute force it forever, and then I would eventually get it. But for now, we'll play his games. Bring it here. Yeah. Now sit back down. But what if I detain it? Alright, let me explain something to you. That was one of two mistakes you can make here. Alright, well, screw me, of course, because I pressed the wrong button, dude. If you make another one, I must sacrifice you. You what? Wait a minute. Sparrow, the watchful bullfrog, it leaps in the way of attacking flyers, so we actually have flying defense. Although he's probably, I mean, he would actually survive a sparrow attack, so that's something worthwhile. The conniving raven, a blight upon the skies. I think we go raven. The defense is nice, but if we just have a stronger flyer, then the flyer can presumably either attack the flyer or it's going to attack directly as well. But if it's a sparrow against a raven, then the raven's going to win off damage anyways, and that would clog up a spot for him. I think that's worthwhile for us. You can sacrifice another guy or go to the fire. We have yet to check out a fire, so let's try it. I'm salty that we did. Man, of course I fat-fingered that. We would have lost that one if I didn't. I'm sure that won't come back to bite me later. You came across a small group of survivors, face shrunken from starvation. They huddled around the campfire. They looked upon your group of creatures and beckoned. Come warm one of your creatures by the fire, one said. Warm it by the fire, that will enhance his power, said another. You notice one of the survivors wiping drool from their mouth. Okay. I feel like Stoke getting a little more damage could be good. The fire warmed the poor Stoke, enhancing its powers. One of the survivors reached towards it, another gnashed their teeth. Without a word, you pulled the Stoke away from the fire and left. So now we have a 2-3 flying. I mean, that seems like a relatively good card. It seems like one of these games where you just want to go real hard on like one of your cards and just annihilate them with it. That's just like what I'm getting right now. 4-6, jeez. Okay, well, squirrel. Sacrifice the squirrel, put the cat somewhere where it hopefully won't get targeted. I can't sacrifice the grand fur, that's not unsurprising. I probably should use one of my bottles, maybe. Do we need to get out ahead of him? I feel like the answer is yes. And if we lose anyways, then we're gonna get sacrificed. Whatever that ends up meaning for us. So, you know, I don't think we really had the luxury of just chilling here. So we're gonna go ahead and get our Raven out early to help mitigate some of the incoming damage that's gonna happen here. Life's pain. Let's see here. 2 sacrifices, give me a squirrel. So we know we can't deal with this grizzly right now, so what we're doing here is just mitigating damage while our Raven tries to get us back a little bit. We might end up having to use the flyer thing, whatever that ends up doing for us. Our turtle should live through one more hit, unless excess damage goes over, in which case we'll take a little bit more damage. Don't have anything usable here. Okay. He's completely insane. You see that, right? But no care, pathetic, really. Only keeps me around to watch me suffer. Well, okay then. What if I use the pliers, put down the stove, get rid of our snapper, because then we'll be hitting him with 4 damage. I wish I had just like a number amount to actually see how much I need to do to him here. I think I need to do 5 question mark, or based off the teeth there, so 4, and then maybe the last one's 5. So if I need to do 5 damage, then I can go over to this question mark. Behold the rulebook. Pliers to the user, you will place a weight on the scales. The pain is temporary. Alright, so that doesn't actually change anything different. Squirrel and bottle at a squirrel, yeah. Okay. Oh, beautiful. I just rip out one of my own teeth. Well-earned point of damage. I didn't think you would really do it. Well, we're here to win right now. Oh, good. The snapper is apparently big enough for me to do that by itself. Back on the board. Yes, you are. And, well, hopefully that's enough damage, because otherwise we're gonna get wrecked by the grizzly. Enhancements, extra cards, or extra consumables. That's a tough one. I feel like consumables could be worthwhile. Wolf, the proud wolf, the vicious contender. Wolf is not bad, just a solid card. Another cat. The monstrous grizzly. Its form speaks enough of its efficacy. Ah, man. 3 though? He would survive forever, but do we really be having the cards to actually make use of that? These ones are, there's something underneath them, presumably, that say that we've actually gotten them. There might be something that's just grabbing every card in the game, so if we're gonna go off of that assumption, I'll take the grizzly, because maybe it'll end up helping us out later, although I don't think it actually does much for us in this particular run, because I imagine it runs off of a run system similar to something like Slay the Spire, in which case this might help us later, but not necessarily on this run. So we're gonna go ahead and go with our decision based off of that, and hopefully we're right. A power 4 item. Turn this and I'll skip my next turn. 1 damage, skipping a turn, so, I mean, a whole turn in turn-based is extremely strong. 1 damage or another score. A gust from this may lift your creatures into the air if only for a turn. So for 1 turn, we can have everybody damage him directly. Damage ever... We really have that many people to make that worthwhile, though. I mean, if the grizzly plus 1 other, assuming we can even get the grizzly out there, but 1 grizzly plus something else flying, he just dies. 1 extra damage. We've already got a squirrel on us. I feel like we go with this. Feeling overburdened enough with the full 3 items you carry. I wonder if it always gives you up to 3, in which case you can just burn them and then go take 1 of your turns to go back and restock and then go something like that. Oh boy. The trees seem to close in around you as a chill mist descended. In the distance you could hear the clinking of metal on stone. A hobbled figure stood in your path. Where's this prospector? Okay. So we've got presumably a boss fight going on here. So I've got a boulder in my way, and then we've got a coyote as well as a pack mule. I'm actually able to look at these. Okay, cool. Sprinter. At the end of the owner's turn, a card bearing the sigil will move in the direction inscribed in the sigil. And then we've got the coyote. I can't actually check the coyote. I can only check the sigil it has. Okay, interesting. So, who do I need to get rid of? Pack Mule's only got HP, so it's just gonna be a blocker, and potentially we might get something out of the Pack Mule because it's a Pack Mule. But alright, so we need to get rid of this Coyote, or at least we need to stop its damage. So put the Squirrel in the way of the Pack Mule, so because it's not gonna get attacked, so that's fine. If this is a boss fight, then we've got to go all out, right? So give me my Squirrel. We'll put the Squirrel right here. Then I don't know. There might be different mechanics. I don't need this necessarily right now, but it would put us so unbelievably far ahead. This is pretty alright to start off with, though. I don't necessarily have to block him. I could just take the damage. Because he's got to do 2 damage. My wolf has 2 HP, so we're going to let him do the damage because we're going to do more damage, so we're still going to be up. But we won't be up as much as we would be. Not necessarily. Raven. Okay. It's only 1 blood, so I'd have to sacrifice the wolf, and then I can get the Raven out there. Grizzly. I think we gotta use this one because we just need the turns at the moment. Pass our next turn, which is fine because we shouldn't get attacked then, if that's the case, question mark? Or no, it'll still go off, but you just won't do anything next turn. Is that right? I'm obligated to pass. Need you. Alright. If we just get one more thing, then we can get the Raven out there. The Raven can attack as well, then the wolf will attack, and then we'll do that. So we'll grab ourselves a Squirrel. Throw that down. Then we'll sacrifice the Squirrel and the cat. See, I knew this was a potential issue with grabbing the Grizzly. The idea was really just, yeah, make sure we get all the cards and whatnot. So. Bones? I hope you don't think it would be that easy. There's gold in them cards. What do you mean? Hey. What the? Gold? I've struck gold. You mean you struck hacks? Are you kidding me? Ah, what? Alright, well, I just got hacks, so that's a bit of an issue. Maybe you should have drawn a Squirrel, but at the same time, I mean, there's literally nothing I can do. Alright, so what does Bloodhound do? Although I guess we have to see what we want here. Man, I got nothing right now. Like, he just... Alright, well, I got wrecked by a boss mechanic I didn't know about. Alright, feels bad, man. This is gonna do anything. It's just gonna block damage. I'm still gonna take damage, though. Those are still gonna be in the way because nothing's attacking them. What was that? What were you trying to do here? When an opposing creature is placed opposite an empty space, a card bearing the sigil will move to that empty space. So it can actually move around and actively guard, okay? Turns out you can't, you know, get rid of gold the way that is. Well, I literally can't do anything, so alright, well, screw me, I guess. I just got nothing right now. Like, I could keep placing Squirrels, but then we're just gonna lose anyway. Like, I think I just lost, and there's really nothing I can do about this. He's doing the Prospector again. Easy, boss. The mule's the key. Well, considering I literally never had a chance to do enough damage to even kill the mule, you know, not really much I can do in that regard. Can't draw blood from a gold nugget, not unsurprising, so we're just gonna go ahead and take the L here. There's really, literally nothing we could have done. So, yeah, that's a bit unfortunate. More gold for me. Oh, well, time to get strangled, I guess. I don't really know what he's going for here. You know, that felt kind of rigged. You know, just saying. Am I expected to do something? You aren't dead yet. This isn't purgatory. Though you may think of it that way, before you expire, I must ask you a favor. I would like a memento. Your very own death card. It's quite plain at the moment, isn't it? We'll work together to amend that. I want this to be the perfect memento of you. Here's some cards from your mediocre deck. Well, you're the one that handed out the cards to me. How are you gonna call my deck mediocre when you gave me the cards? Like, we can put them to good use. Choose a card to draw the cost from them. Well, definitely not the grizzly. Alright, the wolf, I mean, that's pretty average. 2 cost. I mean, it'd be nice if it was lower, but this time I'll use its power and health. Dang, that would have been helpful for, if we drew the grizzly now, you know, 4/6 at 2 costs, that would actually be usable. Power and health, I mean, we could essentially recreate a wolf or recreate a river snapper. Man, this card is really, not where it needs to be, huh? 1/6, I mean, I guess it gives me a blocker. It seems like blockers are hard to come by than damage dealers at the moment. Well, I don't know. I mean, it can take a hit. It'll die at that hit, but it can take a hit. 3 damage is pretty good. 3 damage to health, and the sigil. Yeah, so we can infinitely keep sacrificing it, but then it's still going to cost us 2, and then... Yeah, I think flying is just better. So a 3/2 that flies, that seems like a relatively solid card. My name, the one that we always use. That's right. There's now but one final the portrait. Well, I don't really do pictures is the thing. Are you ready? You don't need the smile. Well, I didn't plan to because that's just not me, so... Here we go again. Another challenger. Perhaps it is time. Perhaps you can understand bones. Okay, so they still got more mechanics they didn't even teach me about to begin with. The resourceful possum costs 2 bones. You gain a bone when one of your characters perishes for any reason. So if I sacrifice them, I get a bone, question mark? Rattler, 3 damage, 1 health. Okay then. So we could just put a squirrel in the way, it will kill it, and then we can immediately kill it right after, which I think is actually what it wants here. I mean, we could sacrifice this, but then he's just gonna insta-kill anything we do anyways, so I think we can go ahead and just let it go like this. From the death of your creature, you gained a bone. You will not lose this until it is spent or the battle ends. Alright, so we'll take a squirrel. We'll put the squirrel... put the squirrel right there. There we go. Stowe, you do enough to make sure that he can actually die here. Oh, well, Stowe's about to get wrecked. Feels bad, man. I think we just want another... We want another squirrel, so then we can sacrifice Stowe again. Ah, man, rip to this guy. While I was asleep again? No, well, don't be sleeping on the job then. I don't know what to tell you. We knew we were going to go even in that. That's fine, because I can play the possum from my hand because I have bones, right? In which case I can have the possum kill it. And then whatever else I grab, I can use over there. Is that right? What else I got on me? I got a bullfrog. Alright, so I start out with different cards this time. Alright, so possum can get rid of that. Bullfrog needs blood, apparently. Looks like he's out of cards anyways. It always, like, gathers up extra whenever we do more to him, which makes me think that's going to come into play. So I think we want to just overkill him. Like, it seems there's a legitimate reason to do so. How brutal of you. You dealt more damage than you needed to win. However, in my game, such feats are rewarded. Hey, let's go. Alright. To be precise, a tooth to keep for each extra damage dealt. The Trapper may be interested in your spoils. The Trapper? Okay, so presumably he's another boss, potentially, like the Prospector? I forgot your figurine. Get up and fetch it for me. Why do I gotta get up? It's besides the safe. Still have yet to have anything to suggest that I can do anything with this at the moment. At least that I've noticed. This was blind before, now I want a squirrel and a raven egg. Well, I don't even have access to a raven egg. Presumably we want to match this scenario, in which case I'll have a squirrel all the way on the left and a raven egg all the way to the right at some point. That requires even having a raven egg to begin with, so... Still have yet to see anything to suggest that there's a safe code anywhere. Can I interact with anything else? I'm over here now. Okay, there's a figurine that we actually need. It's like I need a key or something like that for that. So I can interact with that at some point. Okay, there we go. 273. I believe that's referring to our safe here. Oh, jeez. 2, 7, and let's go. Stink bug. 1, 2. I wasn't sure if I'd ever escape that iron crypt. Is the stowed around the stunted wolf? This madness must put that away. Okay. We just picked up a key, which presumably goes in here. Okay, so I need to do, what, 5 damage to him here? I'm not exactly sure how they want this to go. So this is me attacking, that's him attacking, presumably. So I want something like this, though? No, I want... What if I did this? That's 3. Okay, well, this. Alright, easy enough. Skink. I forgot that I had put that there. Very well, you may add it to your deck, and I will deal you one every so often. Alright, worthwhile from the sounds of it. Now we got this one over here, so we gotta do 5 damage. Last one we lined up, not sure what this symbol actually does here. I guess it can't move, or it just refuses to move. That one won't go there, okay. This we can move, this we can move. So if I did this, nothing. If I did that, it's 1 damage. If I did that, it's 0. Still 0. If I put 2 over here, still 0. 3 over here, still 0. Put them all over here. No, okay. Alright, so nothing over here changes anything yet, which makes me think that we have to move these around somehow. Still does 0. If I put this down here, we start doing 1 damage. Put this over here, we do 2 damage. I keep pressing the wrong button every time. I'm sure this definitely won't get me sacrificed any more than I have been. That gets us the 3. Puts us back down to 2, so keeping this here does 3. Although this one does more, so if we're able to do that... 2. If we bring this all the way to the top, that's 1. I wish I had a better idea of what I was doing here. So if I put this up here and I put this over here, that's 2. That's 1. That's 1. That's also 1. That's 4. That's 1. I'm just not exactly sure how I'm supposed to read this. So, are we going to assume that these are attacking? So then we would take 1 from that. That's fine. We do 2, so we're up 1. We're up 4. We're up 5. Question mark. But then we take this one. That's still 4. That's 1. That's 0. Okay. That's 3. This one doesn't move ever, so what if I move this here? Still won't move. Alright, we got it, you know? That'll work. Formidable creatures, those ants. Very well, I'll add them to your deck and make them available for future challenges. So we got the worker ant, as well as a queen ant from the looks of it. More? Alright, well. Hopefully you guys don't find this too boring, because I don't know all the symbols and whatnot that we're actually playing with here at the moment. But we're figuring out something so far. That's nothing, that's also nothing. Okay. What if I put all of these in a row? That's 4. But of course I can't actually move anything else from that as a result. So if I bring you down, can I bring you down? That's 3. If I bring that down, that's also 3. If I bring that down, that's 2. If I bring this down, that's 4. Bring that down, that's 2. If I bring it up 2, up also 2, so that gives us 4. So it almost seems like we need a lot here. In which case, is there anything that it does actually more damage for this? This one refuses to move unless I can move it down. No. That one stays there. So if I do that, that's 4. If I do this, that's also 4, so this one doesn't actually make a difference, question mark, at the moment. That also does 4, but it also gives us movement on a different card, which is good enough. Alright. Caged Wolf, curious, 0 damage but 6 health. I mean, that is a lot of health. He's not going to do anything but be a roadblock, but there's something to that. More symbols that I don't know. Alright, well. You know, sometimes brute force is the way. I pressed the wrong button again. Alright, that can't move, that can't move. This can move. Can this move? No, this is just straight up stuck here. Okay. That's 1. That's 0. That's 1. That's 2. Okay, so we want that one presumably right there. That's 2 at the moment. If we bring this down, that's also 2. We said that one, this one doesn't move, right? So this one can only go up to those 2. So leaving this at this, that's 2. I can't move that down, naturally. If I do this, that's still 2. Can I move you? No. I can't move you at all. So it's either right here for you. Alright. So it looks more complicated than it is, but some of the parts do and don't move, which makes things easier or harder, depending on. That's 2. That's also 2. Put that there, that's 2. Okay, so you can't move at all. You can move. That's 2. You can't move, but you can move. Still 2. That's a 1. That's a 0. That's also 1. So this was giving us the best at the moment. So if we work from there, movement of that at the moment doesn't appear to do anything. You're stuck here. It's 2. We can. The farthest we can move you up is 1 more. Moving you up 1 more currently puts it at 2. But it's still 2, so this doesn't do anything at the moment. But what if we change some of the stuff over here? That gets us to 3 by moving that up. Gets us to 2. This gets us to 2. Okay. So that's 3. If I did this, that's still 2. This one doesn't move, right? It's 1. Next one, 2. Doesn't move, doesn't move. So these presumably attack both ways. So I'm gonna assume that the 1 there means it's a thorns. In which case this would die to this would die to this. This is gonna be a 1, 2. Yeah, I don't know if that turns out to be our favor or its favor. I'm not exactly sure how to read that. This, depending on the turn, would end up killing this, which wouldn't attack this. It would still be alive regardless. So this thing needs to die, presumably? So if we do this plus this, that should, in theory, kill you off, question mark? Do you actually need to die? You're stuck in position, which makes me think that you need to. That brings it to 1. That brings it to 2 by putting it there. So that brings it to 2. If you put this, that one doesn't move right. We're at 2 at the moment. If we bring this up, it's 2. If we keep this here, that's still a 2. So that doesn't necessarily matter at the moment. That keeps us at 2. If we bring this down, that's still a 2. If we bring you down, that's a 2 as well. That's a 2. That's a 2. Alright, this one's a bit more difficult, huh? That's a 1. This one doesn't move. You don't move either. Put this over here, that's a 1. That's a 2. That's a 1. Move you up as well. That's still a 1. I don't think we've ever gotten above a 2 so far, have we? So it seems like this one's definitely playing off of more of the sigils, which I just don't 100% understand. Like, I don't know what this tail man does. I'm assuming this is thorns. I imagine this is a bi-directional attack, in which case it'll attack the, it would attack this one and this one, presumably. This would kill off, presumably, that, and also deal 1 damage to that, although I don't know if that necessarily does anything. I'm going to imagine that the bi-directional attack on this one doesn't actually do anything. So if we put that in a position where it doesn't attack anything... Oh, okay. Without having met her, this wood carving is meaningless. Don't know what that means. In time, you will understand its power. Okay, then. It appears we've done all of that in there. I put out that fire because it said I could. I don't know what exactly that means for us. But it appears that there's some smoke filling up in the puzzle area there. You're just chilling there for the time being. We did get a caged wolf card, so presumably we just let something kill that and it'll free you. How does that necessarily work in the outside world? No idea, but in theory it would. We just got the squirrel head, so that's got to be used for something. We're still looking for the raven egg. We got everything out of there. He wants the figurine, which we'll get eventually. in theory, I could... In theory, I could brute force this. It would take forever, but I could. If I was going to do that, that'd probably be something I'd do off camera until we eventually found it. Alright, bifurcated strike. A card bearing the sigil will strike each opponent space to the left and right of the card across from it. Triple left, right, and center. That sounds broken. Frozen away. When a card bearing the sigil perishes, the creature inside is released in its place. Okay, so it's like a free blocker plus you get something out of it, but you can't use it right away. Fair enough. When a card bearing the sigil is played, you'll receive a random item as long as your pack is not full. Nice. Steel trap. Whenever a card bearing the sigil perishes, the creature opposing it perishes as well. A pelt is created in your hand. What's a pelt do for us? No idea. So, but it's essentially an insta-kill, and I have to attack it to get rid of it. Amorpheus. When a card bearing the sigil is drawn, the sigil is replaced with another sigil at random. Okay? Title lock. At the beginning of the owner's turn, a card bearing the sigil will pull small creatures like squirrels into its orbit. Okay. Omni Strike. A card bearing the sigil will strike each opposing space that it's occupied by a creature. It will strike directly if no creature opposes it. Sounds pretty broken. Leader. Creatures adjacent to the card bearing the sigil will gain 1 power. Brittle. After attacking, a card bearing the sigil perishes. Okay, so it's probably like a high damage card, but then it ends up killing itself at the end of it, so that's worth something. Bellist. When a card bears the sigil's played, a chime is created on each empty adjacent space. So it's like a summoner essentially, but it summons the equivalent of squirrels. That's pretty good. Annoying. The opposing creature, or the creature opposing card bearing the sigil gains 1 power. So you buff the other card by having it next to you? Okay. Stinky. The creature opposing card bearing the sigil loses 1 power. That could be good. Waterborne. A card bearing the sigil submerges itself during the opponent's turn. While submerged, opposing creatures attack its owner directly. So it's kind of like flying, except you get defense presumably for the first turn. Like, you can't actually target it, but then you can get targeted yourself. There's definitely something to that. A card bearing the sigil is immune to the effects of touch. of death and Stinky, so that's probably just like a environmental effect, like the rocks and whatnot that we had. Ants. The value represented with the sigil will be equal to the number of ants that the owner has on their side of the table. So you could create like an ant deck and have it be like overpowered, assuming you could keep enough of the ants alive to begin with. 1/2 bones. The value represented with the sigil will be equal to half the number of the bone tokens owned by the owner, or by the owner of the creature with the sigil. So if we have 4, it'll actually end up being 2 for the power. Is that right? Equal the value represented. So it could be like health, but presumably it's going to be power. Some broken mirror thing. Probably Cthulhu, like Bell Ringer. Probably another Cthulhu thing. Card thing. Alright. Spilled blood. The value represented with the sigil will be equal to the number of sacrifices made during your turn. You may draw twice at the beginning of your turn. Boon of Amber Dexterous. Okay, so that's pretty broken. Going to the Magpie Eye. When you draw from your deck, you may choose any card in your deck to draw. Yeah, that's pretty good. You'll start a battle with the Black Goat on the board. I mean, all the boons so far have sounded good, so. You'll start a battle with Grand Furs on all of your spaces. They call that a boon. I mean, unless I can get rid of them and then they can potentially act as blockers, I can see that being worthwhile, but I don't think so far we've actually had any way of getting rid of them at the moment, so. Boon of the Bone Lord. You'll start a battle with 8 bones. Helpful. You'll start each battle with 1 extra bone. I mean, that's something. The Fan, so every place can attack over. My cards on the board will lose all of their sigils. There's there's got to be some situation where that's actually worthwhile, because why would you want to get rid of some of your sigils? Some of the sigils must be not that great then for you to want to actually get rid of them. Fish hook. Hook one of the cards and take it as your own. You must have an empty space on your side to receive. Oh, so you just straight up steal somebody's card? Broken? Alright, fair enough. Frozen Possum. A Frozen Possum is created in your hand. A Frozen Possum is defined as 0 power, 5 HP, frozen away. Okay. Black Goat Bottle. A Black Goat's created in your hand. 0 power, 1 HP, worthy sacrifice. So it probably counts for like a good amount of blood. So we could probably realistically get maybe even a Grizzly out of it. Failure. To the user, nothing will happen. This bottle of goo has no use. Well, I mean, you say that, but everything you said suggests otherwise. Hourglass is good. Act by eye. You can search for any deck, so it's like a one-time use thing. Hoggy Bang. To the user, you will immediately gain 4 bones. Alright. Pliers, not bad. Wise Clock. All cards on the board will move 1 space clockwise. Okay. You may cut up one of your adversary's cards. It is destroyed. So you just straight up take somebody's card out. Alright. Special Dagger. To the user, you'll place a weight on the scales. The pain is temporary, so something similar to the Pliers, but maybe slightly better. Squirrel and Bottle. Boulder in a Bottle. 0 power, 5 health, so just a good blocker. Skinning Knife. You may skin one of your adversary's cards. It is destroyed, and you may draw a pelt card. Okay. Rabbit Hole. When a card bearing the sigil is played, a rabbit is created in your hand. A rabbit is 0 power, 1 health. So it's just a squirrel by a different name. Okay. Once a card bearing the sigil is struck, a bee is created in your hand. A bee is 1 power, 1 health, but it can attack directly. Sprinter. Touch of Death. Insta-kill. Fledgling. After 1 turn, it ramps up. Dam Builder. Dam Builder is created on each empty adjacent space. A dam is defined as 0 power, 2 health. So we got some summoner cards in here. When a card bearing the sigil is played, you may search your deck for any card and take it into your hand. So we got some draw. Burrower. An empty space would be struck. A card bearing the sigil will move to that space and receive the strike instead. When a card bearing the sigil is played, a copy of it is created in your hand. There, loose tail. That would have been helpful to know when I was doing the puzzle, huh? When a card bearing the sigil would be struck, a tail is created in its place, and card bearing the sigil moves to the right. Okay. That's a pretty rough one to, like, imagine. It would make a lot more sense on that board if it actually, like, shown the tail position and whatnot. It would be great, but maybe that's just me. If a creature that you own perishes by combat, a card bearing the sigil in your hand is automatically played in its place. Bone King. When a card bearing the sigil dies, 4 bones are restored instead of 1. Helpful. Unkillable. When a card bearing the sigil perishes, a copy of it is created in your hand. So you always have some kind of draw with Unkillable. That's nice. Sharp Quills. Yeah, essentially thorns for X amount of damage. Hefty. At the end of the owner's turn, a card bearing the sigil will move in the direction described in the sigil. Creatures in the way will be pushed in the same direction, so you can reposition using that. Interesting. When a card bearing the sigil is played, an ant is created from your hand, presumably from the Ant's Queen card that we had received. Guardian just jumps in the way. Airborne. Many lives for the infinite sacrifice so long as it lives. Repulsive. A creature would attack a card bearing the sigil and does not. So it's just like an infinite blocker then? I'm sure there's ways around it. Interesting. Worthy sacrifice counts as 3 rather than 1 for blood. Then we got Mighty Leap. Well, we had seen that. Okay, that's all. I just figured I would read up on all the symbols after trying to figure out all that mess from earlier. Can't do anything with that. Still don't know what that smoke is doing for up there. You think I would have had that activated earlier and then it would have opened this up for me? It still only shows those, which presumably they're not going to give me anything new, so I think we're done with that for the time being. So we're going to go ahead and call it here for this episode. We'll continue this run in the next one. Is there a way I can... Last saved 24 minutes ago? Okay. Alright, well, so we'll call it here for this episode. And next episode, we will continue this run of Inscryption. Pretty interesting game so far. I always loved the card games, so you know. I mean, we had the Yu-Gi-Oh! Streams back in the day. That was some good times. But yeah, no, we hadn't played a card game in a minute. It's given me a little bit of Slay the Spire feels and whatnot. And, you know, I enjoyed that game as well. This one certainly got a much different setting. A lot more of a story going on to it. Which clearly we haven't seen enough of, so we'll definitely go ahead and continue playing this game. I'm enjoying it so far. Hopefully you guys are as well. Hopefully the next one's a little more involved. I just wanted to get everything out of the way that I could at this point, just so that way we don't have to do it later. We didn't do the clock. I imagine it's probably like a set thing we could probably look up online if we really wanted to. I'm not going to. I'll try and figure it out the real way. Unless it comes to a point where we like legitimately need it to move on. If I haven't figured it out by then I'll go ahead and do it. I don't really see that being the case, but yeah, that's probably how we'll end up doing that. So that's the end of this one. Appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next episode. See ya.